Happy Friday. I am doing my part 2 today of my story. um, so I think I'll just recap on kind of like where I left off last. Hopefully you guys saw part 1 or you're going to be really confused. um, so last I had talked about I was with my ex, and he picked my daughter up from daycare after I had told him the night before that I wanted to split up. Yeah, so he picked her up, and the next day, like I said, I was at work, and he was texting me and then stopped texting me, and then I get home, and my house is empty. So I told you guys, I was calling everybody and posting things on Facebook. They sent out an Amber Alert. It became a big thing. After I'd say like 3 hours, and don't quote me on that because at this point my daughter is missing. She's 4 months old. And I was, with my daughter, I was her sole provider. So pretty much I did everything. I made her bottles, put her to bed, I give her baths, like everything I did, by myself. So, I'm just in a daze, like, this can't be real, like, what's going on? And it was very out of his character as well. And I had known him, for 3 years. Like, we lived together, we moved in together after maybe a month of dating. So, yeah, I felt like I knew him, and this was not something he would do. So, like 3 hours passed by, and finally, my sister Erica, who lives in Washington, she was with me the whole time, waiting for the police that never showed up. They said they had other things to do. So, that was mind-boggling. Yeah, so we're sitting there, and she gets a call, and it's him, and he's like, I'm gonna keep this short. Me and Aurora fine. I took her to a hotel, not too far from here, and I just want to spend the night with her, and I don't know, how often Sam's gonna let me see her, so I just want to, have this night with her. And, I'm in the background like, give me the phone, because I need to talk to him and figure out what's going on. So as soon as I get on the phone, he just hangs up. So we're trying to call him, he's not answering, and he doesn't answer for the rest of the night. And we sat at my house on the floor, my empty house, for like 5 hours maybe. It was like super late, and then my sister was like, we need to go. He's not coming back, and the cops aren't coming, and there's nothing we can do right now. So I'm like, fuck, okay, I guess we'll leave, I can't stay here. Where am I gonna sleep? So we go to her apartment, which is like 10 minutes, maybe 20 from my house. And, my mom's calling me, and she's a wreck. My mom's a very emotional person. So everything I was feeling, she was feeling it as well. So, she's upset, we're all upset. I can't eat. I couldn't even sleep, nothing. Like, I was just like a mess, a complete mess. So the next day, he calls me, and he's like, look, don't ask me any questions. If you ask me too many questions, I'm just going to hang up. If you get angry, I'm just going to hang up. I'm just letting you know, Aurora's okay. And I'm like, please just bring her home. Like, bring her home. She needs to be with her mom. And I'm keeping my cool. I'm not yelling. I'm angry. Trust me, I was angry, but I knew that wasn't going to help. So I was trying to be calm and look, she's a baby. She's a tiny baby. She's attached to her mom. You need to bring her home. It's not safe, safe for her to be away from me. And he just keeps telling me, she's fine. So, and this is like now the weekend. So it's like Saturday, Sunday. So I'm talking to my family, and I'm like, okay, I feel like he's not, because it's now the second night. So I'm like, he's not bringing her back. Or if he does, I don't know when it's going to be. I think Monday morning we need to go to the courts and file for immediate custody. And so my family's like, yeah, that's a good idea, because unfortunately I can't go on the weekend. So Sunday comes, and he calls me, and he's telling me, telling me that he has a lawyer, and she said she's gonna, just threatening me. And I'm like, okay, what? Like, what foot do you have to stand on? Because I was a good mom. I was a young mom, and I was learning, but I was a good mom. I wasn't doing, I was sober. I'd been sober for a couple years already. I drank here and there, but, like, not much. Like, I just didn't feel comfortable. Like I had explained, I had really bad postpartum anxiety. So, drinking just made me feel like, I wasn't 100% myself, and I needed to take care of my baby. So, yeah, so he's basically just threatening me, and I'm like, you don't want to go down this road. Like, this is, just bring her home, please. Like, I need my daughter, and she needs her mom. And he just hangs up. So I'm like, okay. So Monday comes, I go to the court, I file. The judge said he'll see me the next day. So the next day I go back to court. And mind you, it costs money, a lot of money, just to file for something like that. And as well as, if you don't have, like, a lawyer at the time, it's a lot of paperwork. So my mom and me sat there for the whole entire day filling out this paperwork. That was confusing. I didn't know. I'd never been to court before. My record's squeaky clean. Like, I'd never been to court before or done any court paperwork. So we're doing this paperwork, and the next day I go into court, and the judge is like, okay, well, I looked at your paperwork, but it looks like there has been a case filed already against you for a restraining order and a ex parte, which basically means an immediate custody order in California. And I'm like, what? Like, I haven't heard anything about this. And they're like, well, they should have called you or served you paperwork. And I'm like, I haven't heard. And they're like, well, they held this court arrangement yesterday, which is the day I filed. And, because you didn't show up and they didn't know that you weren't notified, they granted him temporary or whatever he wanted. So I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like, he's left the state? He left the state with my daughter? Like, I was just like, there's no way. So, that day we get home, to my house. I pack up my car, my little Chrysler, with whatever I had left. My sister's husband helped me, and me and my sister's husband drove 19 straight hours back to Simi Valley, California. Straight. Like, no naps, nothing. We were, like, on a mission. So we get back, and I have to stay with my dad now because I'm starting over. Like, I had this house that I just put a deposit on, and, we were renting, and I had a new job, and I had to just leave it all. So I come back, I go to the courts, and they tell me when my court date is and all that. So we'll go to court, and I see him, and I'm just like, I just look at him like, I can't believe you're doing this. Like, I felt bad for basically telling him I didn't want to be with him, but I didn't think this was the punishment that I should have gotten. I don't think that anyone really deserves that unless they are really an unfit parent. And I wasn't an unfit parent. I was learning. I wasn't a perfect mom, that's for sure, but I wasn't a bad mom. I had done nothing to make them think I was a bad mom. So I thought. So we get to court, and they're just showing me things that I had, like, posted on social media or some, whatever that was in a joking manner, or, obviously not serious, and the court giving it to the court as if it was serious. Memes, like, things like that, like, joking things. But if read out of context, I can see where it would paint me to be this person that I wasn't. So, and there was some other things that they had put in there too that, you know, I was like, well, I can prove that this isn't true. So I was like, you know, I had my head on straight, and I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do. You know, I'm gonna do this and this and that. You know, basically, I can't really go into the details, but get letters from these people and this people, and, you know, stating that this is not true and this isn't true. So I find myself going to court. I feel like it was like every month. Yeah, at first it was like every 2 weeks, then it was like every month. And every time I go, they didn't let me say anything. My lawyer didn't get to say anything. All the judge would say is, we'll just continue in another 30 days. That kept going on. So much to where, like, my dad went with me. My dad helped me, you know, with my lawyer fees, because lawyers are crazy expensive. And, you know, he went to every court date with me, pretty much. The last court date he went with me, he was told he couldn't come anymore, because after the judge said, once again, you know, we'll continue this another 30 days, my dad stood up in the courtroom and was like, this is fucking bullshit. And I was like, oh, no, we can't do that. And then the bailiff was like, sir, get out. And it was a whole thing. But I mean, that's what I felt. But the whole time I went to court, I just remained my composure. And they were giving me, they finally said, okay, she can have visitation. I think it was 4 hours, 2 days a week, which isn't shit. It's nothing. And I'm like, and this has been, I haven't seen my daughter for a month at this point. An entire month, haven't seen her. They didn't take her to court with them, nothing. So, and I'm, you know, on social media, it's become kind of like a war, a tit for tat between me and Corey. Just going back and forth at each other. Like, we both didn't have any contact, because that was the court orders. Neither of you guys can talk to each other. But there was, you know, we were both posting things back and forth, which I see now super childish. But I was younger, and my brain wasn't as mature as I am now, and to me, I just wanted him to hurt. So, you know, if I had to post something and be an asshole, which I was doing, knowing that I would get to him, I was going to do it, because he was, you know, hurting me through my child, and I felt like, I don't know, I was so angry. So that was going on. So we get to this, now we have to do the visitation at a court, or not a court, at a police station, meeting halfway between Orange County and Simi Valley, Ventura County, because they live in Orange County, and his family is pretty well off, and my family lives in Ventura. So we're meeting in near Downey, just like the hood. It was like a hood, not too bad, but it was pretty good. So the first time I see her after a month, I get out of the car, and I mean, I didn't know that I wasn't allowed to like walk up to their car to like get her. I didn't know we had to like go inside. I didn't know. So I did that. I walked up. My dad was with me, and I just said thank you, and I just picked her up like out of her car seat and just bawled my eyes out. I was like, my baby, like I needed her. So, so that goes on. I get those visitations for a couple more months, and after the first time of him going, he had told the court something that didn't happen, but and that he didn't want to do the exchanges anymore. He wanted his parents to do it. And at every court date, my dad would come with me, and his parents was with him. So the court's like, okay, you don't have to go. So I was like, okay, you know, whatever, that's fine. So every, 2 days out of the week, I'd meet with my daughter and his parents at the court station, go inside, get my daughter. And then because we only had a few hours, I couldn't even take her back to my house. I just would take her to the park and things like that. So that went on for a couple months, about 4 months since everything had happened. The judge finally says, I think that you guys need to go to mediation at this point. And judge, it's like, you guys need to see if you can at least figure something out that works for both of you. Because I'm putting, everything that's being said against me, I'm now, showing proof that this isn't accurate and this isn't the way it was perceived, and, this and that and this and that. So now the court's like, okay, maybe you guys should try to work it out first before we go to a full trial, because that's where this is leading. So I show up to mediation. It's Monday, January 7th. No, I'm sorry, January 8th. And I'm sitting there, and like hours are passing by, and I like ask the lady, I'm like, am I like here at the right day? Like, what's going on? And she's like, yeah, it looks like he didn't show, so you can just go home. So I'm driving home, and I'm so mad because I'm like, after everything you don't show, like, you hate me that much that you don't want to work, figure this out. So I'm mad at him, and I get home. A couple hours pass. Around 7:30, I get a call from my lawyer. From my lawyer, not his parents, not his sister, not his friends, my lawyer. And, he goes, hey Sam, I have some really bad news. And I'm like, fuck, dude, what now? Like, so, he tells me Corey was in a car accident. He was hit by a drunk driver going the wrong way on the freeway, Sunday around 4 a.m., and he didn't make it. And I'm like, okay, obviously my lawyer's not calling me to prank me, because he's a very serious person. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm so sorry, I have to tell you this. And he's like, that's why he was not there today. I'm like, okay. And then we hang up, and I remember very clearly what happened next. I run out of my room. I open my dad's door, because I'm living with my dad at this point. And I just completely collapse in his arms. And me and my dad have never had a relationship that's affectionate at all. We rarely hug, and we do it's like the side hug, like. And I'm just a mess, man. I lost it. And he's like, calm down. What's going on? And I couldn't even get it out because I was so upset. And I go into his bathroom that's in his room, and I'm sitting on the floor. And I'm like, Corey died. He's like, are you serious? And I'm crying, so I'm like, does it fucking look like I'm joking? Like, And he's like, holy shit. And I'm just bawling. Because everything that had happened in that 4 months didn't matter anymore. All that anger that I was feeling, everything that happened, all the tit for tats on social media, it didn't matter anymore. All that I was seeing was this 3 years that I was with him. Was the delivery of my child with him. Was the day we got married. Like, that's what was going in my brain. None of the bad. The bad just completely went away. And I was heartbroken, to say the least. I couldn't like wrap my brain around it. And I hated that we had left things the way we left things, because there was so much unsaid. So many things I didn't understand, probably things he didn't understand either. So much we still needed to say. And so I'm immediately texting his parents, because I'm like, they just lost their child, and then they had my child, and my child, she's 8 months at this point. So I'm like, she's around this, and I know they're a mess. I'm a mess, but she, what's going on with her? So, I'm thinking my daughter's gonna come home now. No. Nope. So, not even a week within of that happening. The courts, we go to court, and they had asked to basically take Corey's space in court. The judge denied it because of the way he passed. They couldn't identify him. I mean, it was on the news. His car blew up. So, and they couldn't do dental records, so it was taking some time for them to identify him. And because I was the next of kin, I was the one getting the calls from the morgue, and that shit was fucking hard, man. I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, you know, I didn't know. I don't know. I can't even tell you what I was feeling. For months and months after that happened, I cried every day. I mean, I was heartbroken. Because that was my daughter's father. Like, I kept thinking in my brain, like, my daughter's never going to meet her dad. Like, she was 8 months when he passed. She's not going to remember that. Do you remember when you're 8 months? No. I don't either. You know, she's not going to know him. And that hurt me the most, I think, out of everything. So, you know, now his parents are trying to keep Aurora from me. And at the time, I didn't get it. I didn't get why they would do that. I was, you know, very, very confused. I was very angry with them. And I was just like, I'm not a bad mom. Like, why are you doing this to me? You know, it didn't click in my head fully that they just lost a child. And, you know, I'm completely distraught over someone, you know, taking my child for a month. Their child just passed away. Like, that was their child. You don't ever want to bury your own, you know, your kids. You don't want to do that. So I didn't get, I mean, I got that, but I didn't understand why they were so against me, you know. But people grieve different ways. I grieved through a lot of different ways, and I wasn't me for a long time. I wasn't. It was like a part of me was gone, and I still didn't have my daughter with me. I mean, they had, like, you know, we're slowly, like, upping my visitation, so I was getting, like, nights with her here and there, and, you know, weekends and stuff like that, but she wasn't living with me. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I see now that I hurt their son, and I broke his heart, and then he died. And I see that now, that they would be angry with me, and that in their grieving, they blamed me at some point. I can see that. Because I blamed people. You know, I was like, if this didn't happen, you know, we'd still be in Washington, and you know, we'd be working it out as parents, or, you know, if his ex-girlfriend that called him that night and it was all, you know, on a good one, like, come pick me up at 4 a.m, when he shouldn't have been driving. If she never called him, he wouldn't have been on the road. Like, you know, I went through those phases of blaming people in anger, because grieving has a way of doing that to you. You want someone to blame. So basically, I'm having to go to anger management classes, and I am not an angry person. I mean, I talked about, like, after my ex, when I was like 21, I went through a little spurt, but my normal person, I'm very introverted. I'm very quiet and soft-spoken, and I'm just chill. Like, I just like to chill, and I'm not an aggressive, I'm not an abusive person. But the court wanted me to do anger management classes, so I did anger management classes, and then the court wanted me to do a drug and alcohol assessment, because I thought I was doing drugs or abusing my anxiety medication, and so I did that, and, you know, And after I do these classes, the instructor gives gives a letter about the course to the judge. And all the letters I was getting was good. I did a mommy and me class where this lady came to my house every day for months and just watched me with my daughter. Or every week she would come, and they would give letters to the court, and everyone was in my favor. So we're in guardianship court now, because the other judge is like, until we had a death certificate, didn't want them to come in replacement of Corey. So we're in guardianship court, and the judge basically, was like, where are you guys going right now? Because, hold on. What's wrong, Bubba? Hold on. It's okay, dude. Sorry. Your nose? I'm sorry. Okay, so, so the judge was kind of like, you guys need to go to mediation because, I feel like this is going to go to trial if you guys don't. And unless that's what you guys want, and he kind of told the my daughter's grandparents, if this is, what you guys want to do, then you can go to trial. But, what I'm seeing from her is very impressive, and, I think mediation is your guys' best bet. So we went to mediation, and I think what had happened in mediation was a big step in the right direction, because we came to an agreement, and we cried. We sat there, we cried, No, bub. Hold on. Go get daddy. Go get him. Go get daddy. Go get him. So I think everything in mediation, kind of came out, and they expressed to me their fear was that I was going to take my daughter and book it. And I tried to explain to them, and Corey, actually, the whole time, that it was never my intentions to keep my child from his dad or his dad's side of the family. Because when I was a child, my parents, they went through the divorce, and my mom was really hurt, and there was a time that, my dad didn't see me very often, and even though I was okay with that, as an adult, I see that maybe the way things were handled with us, me and my sisters, wasn't the right way, because it only affects the child when you use your children as a pawn, or your grandchildren, to out of your own emotions, out of anger, or whatever the case may be. So that was never my intention, because he wasn't a bad dad. So why would I keep him from her? Because I was mad at him? No. That's my own personal things that had no reflection on him as a parent. So, and his grandparents, they loved my kid. Why would I do that? So we agree in mediation that it's time for Aurora to come home. But they wanted to do it, each week we had like an extra day with me, so it was kind of like because it was right before her first birthday. So she's getting a little older, obviously she's still young, but she's getting a little older. So we wanted to do it, the right way. So we did, and eventually she was fully at home. And I was still grieving, but I was so happy to roll over and look at that crib and see my daughter in there. Like that meant more to me than anything in this world, is to have her there. And, we're living our life, and, I made a couple mistakes along the way. I dated some piece of shit guy, didn't bring him around my daughter, or anything, but for like a month, and he tried to steal from my dad, and I like got caught by the neighbor's cameras, and it was a whole thing. That was, I think, me dating him, I knew he was a crappy guy, but I was still in like this fog of grief and trauma. And I think, after you experience things that traumatize you, they have an effect on you even if you're not realizing it. So after that, I'm like, I'm not dating anybody. So some time passes, and I meet Andrew, and I didn't really have intentions of things progressing, but I meet him and we hang out, and we're hanging out more and more, and he saw me, and when he saw me, at least what he says is, I was his person, and he knew, and he's a very picky person like me, when it comes to like a real relationship, who I really want to be with. So we start dating, and finally after a couple months, I'm like, okay, you can meet my daughter. A little bit here and there, we're not affectionate around her. I don't want to confuse her. She's still young. She's like a year and a couple months. So, yeah, and now we're here 3 years later. Gonna get married in 13 months from now. We own a house together. I have an amazing relationship with my daughter's grandparents. They give visitation with her every other weekend, which, it's hard for me, but at the same time, sometimes, it's good for her because they take her to like Disneyland. They're like the fun parent or grandparents, and she enjoys it. So I enjoy that. She enjoys it. I miss her when she's gone, but she has a brother, Phoenix, and her and her brother, they love each other. I mean, they fight, but they love each other, and we live a happy life. And I feel like everything that I've told you guys is a big reflection on who I am and where I've come from and what I've been through, and I want you guys to, see me for me. And yeah, I mean, everything I plan on posting from here on out isn't really going to be this way. I just wanted to get this out there, so you guys can get to know me. I think that's important. So yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to do other videos, and I kind of want to play the whisper challenge with Andrew, with my fiance, and I think it would be really awesome. He's never played before, so I think it will be funny. So we'll do a video of that. Like I said, I'll do reviews and things like that. So this part 2 of 2 is over, and if you've listened this far, then I appreciate you, because I know it's a lot, and I know I go back and forth a lot. And yeah, I mean, I just wanted to put this out there again. If you have been through something similar, or maybe something completely different, and you feel like maybe this chick knows what kind of feels like to have things happen, and maybe she'll understand, message me, and we can talk, and I'm always open. And I'd like to think that this video and the one before this can give people hope that they're in bad situations. So I mean, that's what I hope you guys get out of it. But yeah, I'm glad we got through this part. I know it was a little depressing, a little sad, to say the least, but again, it was important to me to tell you guys and to go through it. Yeah, and I'm super excited for everything that I have to share with you guys, and all, the future things, and, we can sit around and just bullshit and talk about the Tiger King, or, that bitch Carol Baskins. I'm okay with that. I think this is going to be fun. I think it's going to be big. I think it's going to be awesome. So, yeah. With that being said, I appreciate each and every one of you. I adore you guys. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up with my videos. Make sure to like it. Share it on your Facebook. You know, like I said, it can help people out there that are struggling and you don't even know they're struggling. So, yeah. I'll post another video in a couple days, maybe about a week. But I hope you guys have a great weekend. See you later.